Welcome to The Edit with your host, Vivian Cole. Brought to you by Vogue Media Agency, the podcast where branding, visibility, and influence are curated with intention. Each week, we cut through the noise to explore strategy, storytelling, and what it really takes to build a brand that's seen, heard, and remembered.
Episode of The Edit. I'm Vivian Cole, and today we're starting the year the way this show is meant to be experienced, with intention, clarity, and refinement. It's a new year, and everywhere you look there's noise, new trends, new platforms, new algorithms, new promises that this tactic or that shortcut is the key to finally being seen. There's a pressure to move fast, to reinvent everything overnight, to announce bold declarations before you've even had time to reflect. But this episode is not about chasing what's new, it's about editing what already exists. Because strong brands aren't built by reacting to every shift. They're built by refining direction, strengthening message, and choosing visibility on purpose. This is your strategic reset, not a rush, not a resolution list, a reset. Before we talk about goals, messaging, or visibility, we need to talk about something most people skip: honest reflection. Editing always starts with reviewing what's already on the page. Last year gave you data, not just numbers or analytics, but lived experience. What worked? What felt aligned? What drained you? What you kept doing out of habit instead of strategy? What brought the right opportunities, and what brought attention without impact? Too often, people rush into a new year carrying the same clutter, same offers, same messaging, same routines. Just louder, just faster. And then they wonder why growth still feels heavy. Editing your brand for the year ahead begins with one simple but powerful question: what no longer deserves space? Not everything needs to come with you. Some goals you set last year were based on who you thought you needed to be, not who you actually are. Some platforms you showed up on because everyone else said you should. Some messages you repeated because they were popular, not because they were true to your expertise. This is the moment to release those things. A refined brand is not one that does more. It's one that does less, better. Now, let's talk about goals. Real goals. Not vague intentions like be more visible or grow my brand. Visibility without direction is just exposure. Growth without clarity leads to burnout. This year your goals should answer 3 questions. What do I want to be known for? Who do I want to reach? And what outcome actually matters to me? Being known for everything is the same as being remembered for nothing. The most powerful brands make a deliberate choice about their position. They decide what lane they're in, and they stay there long enough for trust to form. So instead of setting 10 goals, set one core focus, one theme for the year, something that everything else supports. It might be authority, it might be expansion, it might be refinement, it might be sustainability. Whatever it is, let that focus guide your decisions. When an opportunity comes up, ask yourself, does this support my focus? Or does it distract from it? That single filter will save you time, energy, and clarity. Now let's move into messaging, because this is where most brands lose their power. Messaging drifts when it's built around trends instead of truth. Trends can be useful, but they are not a foundation. If your message changes every time the internet does, your audience never gets a chance to trust you. Consistency builds credibility. Repetition builds recognition. Your message this year should be rooted in 3 things: your expertise, your values, and the problem you solve best. Ask yourself, if someone heard me speak once, what would they remember? If they read one post, what would be clear? If they landed on my website for 10 seconds, would they understand who I'm for and why I matter? Clarity is not boring. Clarity is generous. It respects your audience's time. Editing your messaging doesn't mean becoming smaller. It means becoming sharper, fewer words, stronger language, less explaining, more confidence. You don't need to convince people who aren't aligned. You need to speak clearly to the ones who are. Now let's talk about visibility, because visibility is where strategy and restraint matter most. Visibility is not about being everywhere. It's about being effective where you choose to show up. This year, ask yourself, where does my audience actually pay attention? Where do conversations happen? Where do decisions get made? You don't need to dominate every platform. You need to own one or two spaces well. Spaces where your voice feels natural, not forced. Spaces where you can show up consistently without resentment or exhaustion. Consistency beats intensity every time. A brand that shows up calmly and clearly over time will always outperform one that appears loudly and disappears just as fast. Visibility should support your life, not consume it. If your brand requires constant urgency to survive, it's not sustainable. Strategy creates room. Systems create peace. This year, build visibility that works even when you rest. That might mean creating evergreen content instead of chasing daily trends. It might mean fewer posts with more intention. It might mean prioritizing quality conversations over mass attention. Remember, attention is not the goal. Impact is. Now here's something that doesn't get talked about enough at the start of the year: boundaries. Your brand will only be as strong as the boundaries you set around it. What you say yes to, what you decline, what you tolerate, what you protect. Not every opportunity deserves your energy. Not every collaboration aligns with your values. Not every audience is yours to serve. This year, choose discernment over desperation. When your brand is clear, you don't have to chase validation. You attract alignment. And finally, let's talk about pace. Because editing your brand for the year ahead is not about pressure. It's about longevity. You don't need to sprint into January. You need to build a rhythm you can sustain through December. Progress doesn't require urgency. It requires intention. Give yourself permission to move thoughtfully, to build slowly if needed, to refine before you expand, to choose depth over noise. The brands that last are not the loudest ones. They're the ones that know who they are, what they stand for, and where they're going. So, as you step into this new year, don't ask yourself how much more you can do. Ask yourself what you can edit, what can you simplify, what can you strengthen, what can you release, what deserves more focus. Because when you edit your brand with care, everything else becomes clearer. Your goals, your message, your visibility, and your impact. This is not about becoming someone new, it's about becoming more precise. Thank you for starting the year with me. This has been a special New Year's episode of The Edit brought to you by Vogue Media Agency. I'm Vivian Cole, and this year we're choosing intention over noise, clarity over clutter, and strategy over trends.
Thanks for listening to The Edit with Vivian Cole, brought to you by Vogue Media Agency. Be sure to subscribe for more insights, share this episode with your network, and join us next week for another conversation on building brands with clarity, confidence, and impact. Visit voguemedia.us.
Vogue Media Agency offers comprehensive services to help small to medium-sized businesses, faith-based and nonprofit organizations, content creators, and entrepreneurs establish and grow their online presence. Focusing on website design, landing pages, social media management, podcast training, branding, weblog creation, and public relations, Vogue Media Agency provides a convenient one-stop solution for clients looking to elevate their digital footprint. What sets us apart is our personalized service and niche expertise. We are your marketing consultants. Contact us today.
To contact Vogue Media Agency, call 212-470-2730 or visit voguemedia.us.